Hello, dear colleagues. I hope you and your families are safe and you are doing well. Today, we are going to talk about the Emerald Expert briefings and how these can help the global academia to cope up with the challenges posed by COVID-19. So, before moving to the talk, I'll briefly explain about myself. I'll introduce me. My name is Mohammed Kashif, and I have been working with GIFT University in Pakistan. In addition to that, I have been working with University of Colombo as a researcher with the Faculty of Graduate Studies. In terms of publications, I have published extensively, like 50 articles in internationally acclaimed journals, and several articles are in line under review, and few of these are actually awaiting the online presence. I have been working extensively in academia. I started as a faculty member, then I started writing for journals, as I explained to you. Later on, I moved to some performance of some editorial work, like I worked with British Food Journal as a guest editor for 2 years, and I successfully invited a call for papers on food anti-consumption. That was quite a success. In addition to that, I have been training to academia all across the world. I traveled to Africa, parts of Asia, and have performed online trainings in multiple countries. In addition to that, I have also supervised some academic research projects. So this was a brief introduction of myself. Uh, you can also join me. I have just started my YouTube channel named as Umeed Bahar, which means a positive ray of hope, where I'll share some academic content, and I'll be also talking about some um, social issues, as how societies such as developing world, they can cope up with the challenges posed by some social issues in this modern era. In addition to that, you can also find me via Google Scholar. My Google Scholar account is there at the screen. So if you wanted to keep yourself updated as what I have been doing and what I have been publishing, you can definitely follow me on my Google Scholar. Well, today's talk, there are several aims which I want to achieve through this brief talk. I'll be talking about the problems associated with the COVID-19 outflow. Um, in addition to that, we will try to discuss the damages caused by COVID-19, especially the macro and micro level institutions, the challenges which they are facing. And then we will talk about some solutions as how Emerald Briefings can play a role to cope up with the challenges, especially the global academia, because we know that a lot of challenges are there in front of faculty members and the institutions in particular. So how Emerald Briefings can help us out in coping up with those challenges. Let's talk about the macro and micro effects of COVID-19. There are a few considerations which I believe that we should keep in mind. For example, today we are talking about social distancing. So in a manner, it is going to damage the interpersonal relationships, and there are quite a longer list of confusions ahead us. For example, how to implement a global social distancing program at work, because organizations, they are always talking about synergies, they are always talking about groups and teams, they are always talking about the power of social interactions at work. So how to implement a social distancing program at the workplace and also in the societies, that is quite a question in front of policymakers and also the administrators of companies. In addition to that, since I already mentioned about the power of social interactions, it is important for these customer service organizations as how they will cope up with such challenges. Because we always talk about, in this modern era, there is a lot of research which has been published and where people are talking about, at one side, they are talking about collaboration among employees within a work, and also collaboration with partners outside the firm, like a collaboration with customers, collaborations with the member of the social group, collaboration with suppliers, with distributors, and even with competitors. So without these social interactions, how organizations are going to achieve is it will leave a drastic impact on the way social institutions are operating, especially the service organizations. Then another component is that we have some resource constraints. For example, are we now moving towards a digitalized world? If this is true, then are companies ready? psychologically and also in terms of their resource. These are the two considerations. In terms of resources, of course, they need human resources, the people who are well aware of the modern technologies. They also need financial resources because it requires a huge investment. And I know that in developing countries, a lot of companies are there, those who do not even have the proper website. And the customers, instead of buying online, they prefer to go to offline. So how this whole system will shift and why company would be willing to invest, that would be another very important question to ponder upon. In addition to that, the education of the firm itself, its top management, because they should be mentally ready to invest, and also the education of the people who are at the lower levels, at the lower cadres in an organization. For example, the people who are working in as assembly line workers, how would they interact, right? So there are several resource constraints which we need to cope up with. Another facet is health and well-being. This social distancing program can also in a way affect the health and well-being, because friendship at work and all the social interactions which were going on at a service workplace in particular, and other organizations like manufacturing concerns where there are larger production houses. So the social gatherings were a source of you know reduction of our stress at work. But if we will now adopt social distancing, what will be the future of work? How do human resources, the policymakers, the CEOs, and all concerned who are the key stakeholders, how would they respond to these challenges? So these are few considerations which I believe we should keep in mind while talking about the post-COVID effects. Now, specifically talking about the universities, because universities are always the powerhouses. If you need a knowledge worker, university is an institution providing you as a firm the knowledge workers. If you need any solutions, the professors may be there through their cutting edge research, they can provide you those resources. Now let's talk about few challenges. Now, I have bifurcated those challenges into several real-time challenges. For example, lack of institutional orientation to deliver the contents via an online program is there. All across the world, the universities were running in quite a traditional manner over the years. People used to physically go there, socially interact to each other in a close proximity to each other. So this was the way supervision, teaching, research, and all the academic trainings were done. Now, what will happen to it in a post-COVID era is another very important consideration. In addition to that, what I foresee is that the staff, the students, they do not have a proper training. The staff do not have training to design courses, to deliver the content, and the assessments that they are going to make over the content. On the contrary, the students, they are also not psychologically ready, and they are like very confused because I had a chance to speak to a lot of students in several countries online these days, and they have similar type of fears. For example, how assessments will be made, how course learning outcomes will be achieved, how they will be able to ask questions, how their queries will be dealt. So all these questions are there. And developing countries, they are facing additional challenges like poor infrastructure, like few only, I guess there are few countries in the world where the geographical reach of internet is there. Other than that, if you look around, there are very few countries. I don't find a country like in a developing world where their internet facilities are high-speed internet facilities there, so that they can receive the online lecturing, and the faculty, they'll face all those challenges. In addition to that, we have resource constraints like equipment, infrastructure, and also the people who are quite well equipped with the delivery of the online contents. Furthermore, regulatory pressures. No, this one very important threat coming up with us, because at one side, the regulatory authorities, they want the quality to be delivered by the universities. On the other side, the universities, they want to deliver, and they want to start delivering the content. Quality is a like they want to take it on a hold for the time being, and they want to go on a trial basis, so that at a future time they might ensure the quality. But the regulatory authorities, it is their job to ensure that quality content is delivered. I have seen a lot of universities in several countries, they are struggling with the design, delivery, and assessment quality. So this regulatory pressure is there. The institutions who are governing the universities, they want them to deliver the high quality at the first trial. That is quite a tricky thing to do. Then there is paucity of observation, because a faculty in a university is meant to train, is meant to provide some consultancy, but that can only happen if the faculty, they are actively associated and they are actively engaged in research projects. Now, for a research project to successfully mature, you need some breakthrough ideas, you need some contemporary debates to know. I think this is a very important point where Emerald Research, the expert briefings can help out. I would explain as how these can help at a later time. Then we have course curriculum and design issues. For example, design of a course outline, how it should be delivered to students. Should it only be the lectures? Of course, it should not only the lectures. It should be more than that. It should include all the contents which can deliver a global insight to our students now, because with this era of digitalization coming up with, we need to equip students not only for regional markets but also for global markets. Now let's see how Emerald is providing a solution to that, a solution to COVID-driven challenges we are going to talk about now. First, I'll briefly explain what is Emerald Expert Briefings. These are actionable responses to macroeconomic and geopolitical events, prepared for global political and business leaders to help them understand the implications. Now, why this expert briefing is important? There are two, although there are so many other reasons. Emerald as a stronger brand is one very important reason. But in addition to that, there are review board members. They also are from Emerald, and also the experts outside Emerald. So in this manner, it makes a really, it makes it an academic document where expert briefings can be shared as an academic document with the students. So if you are a faculty member involved in some sort of research, you can use these documents because these have already been peer reviewed by experts, those who belong to Emerald, and also the outside people. Secondly, it is meant for research and learning, because all that information should not only be accessible to the businesses, but also to the business school faculty and also the other social sciences faculty members, so that they can conduct some sort of research. Now, coming back to some practical insights on benefits and how to of using Emerald expert briefings. As I mentioned earlier, Emerald expert briefings provide faculty with international business and geopolitical scenario. Expert briefings can be initial source of research ideas. I'll explain how. And the students, while performing over assignments and projects, can seek help from Emerald expert briefings. See, this is one type of idea which I am sharing with you. If you are into HR and finance, a faculty member in a business school, you see, this is one of expert briefings. Argentine government grapples with debt and job cuts. So job cut is an issue, of course, with its agenda embedded into HR. On the other side, the debt issue is from the finance tribe. So if you are the one who is interested in both HR and finance, or for the time being for in HR or only in finance, you can use this type of expert briefing in order to further extend your research idea. Another idea could be COVID-19 could exacerbate religious tensions in India. Now, if we are talking about the religious tensions in India, in a country like India, where there are, multicultural, multi-religious society, huge population of Muslims, and then a extremely large population of Hindus. Now, if you are into this religious type of thing and you want to investigate such issues, this type of expert briefing can help you out. In addition to that, this very recent news, if you are into tourism, religious tourism in particular, this Hajj cancellation will worsen Saudi economic woes. So that also means that up to some extent, how cancellation of Hajj will impact the religious tourism in Saudi Arabia. This can also be for Palestine. This can also be for some other religious places where people belonging to other religions can go out, right? So Now, these are the areas the expert briefings can help you out in order to find an initial hook for a very nice research project. Know how to embed these into a course. Let's say if you are teaching a course in international business or international economics, these few ideas can help you out. If you are designing a course and you have topics such as global financing, you can use this idea. If you are talking about, let's say, global consumer cultures, then this religious tension in India can help you out. And of course, if you are talking about religious tourism, or more generally, if you are talking about global marketing issues or cultural marketing issues under an international business or trade course, you can use these such briefings. So this was a very initial orientation about as how expert briefings can be used by the faculty. You can always keep me posted with your comments, with your questions and suggestions. I'll speak to you soon. Take care and bye.